Is Keir Starmer selling Britain's sovereignty for a future EU payoff? As the local elections ramp up for May 7th, Keir Starmer has made his priorities clear. Instead of facing the British people, he has headed to Brussels to surrender our sovereignty. His goal? Paying a staggering £1 billion per year just for the privilege of being a rule taker in the EU single market. In Starmer's mind, you've got to pay to play. Before Starmer took office, Britain was outperforming every country in the EU. Today, that lead has evaporated. We are now trailing behind them all because of Labour's catastrophic mismanagement. The human cost is undeniable. 1.5 million more people have been driven out of work and onto universal credit since Starmer walked into number 10. The selling out and realigning of the UK under EU control started with Boris Johnson. Yes, the same Boris Johnson who was only interested in power and so sold the nation on Brexit in principle, but in practice never delivered on his promises. So Boris Johnson is not missing in this slippery slope of mismanagement. But Labour, and especially Starmer, has been in power long enough for us to place this further and faster mismanaged declining leadership squarely onto the shoulders of Labour and Sir Keir Starmer himself. His cabinet proves they are going along with his questionable leadership direction. This shows the same pattern of putting personal and globalist interests before sovereignty. Last week at Prime Minister's Questions, Starmer looked Kemi Badenoch in the eye and claimed he was proud of Labour's first session. He boasted about cutting NHS waiting lists, lowering energy bills and raising minimum wage. But if he were truly proud of his record, he would be on the doorstep of Britain, selling those achievements to the electorate to win seats. The truth is, Starmer knows he has failed. He knows that the British public is worse off. His words are nothing but hollow rhetoric, a narrative designed for the gullible. Labour is facing a total wipeout in the local elections, and Starmer knows his days are numbered. Having failed as a Prime Minister, he is already looking for his next move. Starmer seems to feel that his best bet now is to sell out Britain in the hope that Brussels reward him. He is effectively auditioning for his next role, an international lawyer for the EU or some other top-ranking role in its leadership structure. No one in the UK will ever want him as a lawyer again, and he will never hold a job in our government after this. Starmer is selling our sovereignty as a down payment on his own future career in the European bloc. The problem is that Starmer has never stopped being an international human rights lawyer. He is simply an international human rights lawyer with the title of Prime Minister attached, and he has no idea how to actually lead a nation. If you cannot manage your own country without leaning on outside influence and foreign powers, you are in the wrong job. No sovereign nation should ever be a rule taker just to function. Why are we not drilling our own oil and gas to sell to the EU? Why aren't we lowering taxes and creating an environment where businesses can grow, hire, and trade globally on our own terms? The problem is simple. Starmer and the Labour leadership have never built a business. They don't understand how to manage the business of this country. They believe throwing taxpayer money at a problem is a solution. But under Labour, that money is just fuel for a burning fire. When a government understands how to use its tools and resources, the economy thrives. When it doesn't, the country enters the downward spiral we see today. Labour is effectively pouring petrol on the burning fire of our national debt, and the only change we see is things getting worse. We need leaders who choose sovereignty over selfish interests. To make Britain Great Britain again, we must vote in leaders who are truly patriotic. Leaders who care about this nation more than their own careers or globalist ideologies. We need leaders who believe Britain can thrive as an independent power without being forced into a bloc where we take laws from foreign countries that stifle our performance. We need leaders who put the nation's self-government first, instead of surrendering our decision-making power to unelected bureaucrats for personal gain. Britain must have leaders who put laws in place to protect the people rather than to suppress the people. The best choice we have now is to vote reform and take Britain back from the politicians who put themselves and globalist ideologies above the nation. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you have benefited in any way from this video, please subscribe, like, share, and be sure to leave us a comment.